being a musician and learning to be a musician and the skill set learning music. And that's what I have my degree in. But learning the other ancillary things like doing interviews, doing press, what does touring mean? How does that work? And guarantees and everything involved. Because the good thing is, like, I basically got my education that year in one shot. I learned how to do interviews, touring domestically on a low budget, small clubs, large arenas, internationally, because we went to Germany, Canada, England.
Oh, wow.
Well, because the song went top 10 in Germany, Japan, and Australia.
Oh, that's dope.
So we didn't get to do
the one that we listened to?
The one you just listened to, yes. That went top 10, Germany, Japan. I think it peaked out in the United States in the high 30s.
It's solid.
Which is solid, which is nothing is trust me, I'm not complaining at all. I'm just spouting out facts, or just the metrics, if you will. And internationally, we were due to go to Germany and Japan and Australia. Japan and Australia was going to be one thing. It fell apart. It never happened. But we did go to Germany for a week, and we got to do TV multiple times, press a bunch. I mean, over the course of a week, we did basically all press, a couple TV appearances, and one show in an arena.
Really? Wow.
That was it. But it was, I mean, if you ask any of those guys, they'll tell you it was probably one of the happier times that year. It's just like, oh, we got to live what it was like, those dreams of being a rock star and everything else. We got to experience it there. We went and did Top of the Pops in Germany, which was, in the rest of the world, Top of the Pops is the equivalent of American Bandstand everywhere else in the world. And not only...
And that's been running since like the 50s or something, right?
Absolutely.
Coming up next is Hot Action Cop.
Exactly. It wasn't that pretentiously sounding, but it was close. And
this is the part on Sprockets when we dance.
Oh, we had a great time there, just with the culture and everything else. But the one thing that I got to experience, and I'll leave it at that, with this thing is when our van that was shuttling us around pulled to the back door to the studios, there's a fence there like you would see in the old Beatles pictures. Well, the fans rush the fence.
Wow.
And all these fans, and mind you, when you do a TV show like that, we're not the only musical guest. It's like 3 or 4 other ones. And we got out of the van and they rushed the fence, and we're like, they are not here for us, because nobody knows who the hell we are. And sure as anything else, they had figured out how to print pictures of us, because we didn't have 8x10s or anything. They printed pictures of us, and they were there for us to have us sign it.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I was like,
wow.
Oh my God, are you serious? So I literally handed like my camera over to our tour manager and said, dude, you need to take a picture of this, because nobody's going to believe that this happened.
So was that like a moment, or was that the first moment, or did it happen earlier that you were like, oh, I'm a rock star?
Yes, to a certain degree. And even that whole term is, I've thankfully had enough friends and people that I knew that had done it prior that said, all right.
You had like a healthy
view
on the whole thing.
Well, and also, look, I've been playing music since I was, to some capacity, since I was 5 years old, with piano lessons and that kind of stuff. That is, we probably all have to a certain degree. So music has always been a part of my life, and I approached it because I thankfully had enough mentors and enough adults, whether it be band directors, my parents, whatever, that at least, look, if you really want to do this for a living, you need to take it seriously. The Rockstar stuff. So as I grew up and learned and everything else, like the Rockstar thing kind of, or the concept, I shouldn't say, because I'd never pretend to say that I got to those levels. But the concept of it was more of like, well, if you get to see those things, those little benefits, it's kind of icing on the cake. But don't think for a second that can be taken away from you in a heartbeat.
Right. Because it was for so many people.
Oh my gosh. And it's like, and I was very fortunate that I got to be friends and got to talk to people that have been through that already. And, been there, done that, wrote the book, and basically said, hey kid, don't be an asshole.
Which, by the way, is the best advice for anyone ever.
Absolutely.
Like, if you only ever listen to one piece of advice from anybody, don't be an asshole is the number one. Just live your life by that, and everything will be cool.
Absolutely. And that is something that's so applicable to anybody in life,
every situation.
Well, let's take it from a professional situation, whether you sell insurance, you work in corporate America, you're in the music industry, whatever it is, don't be that, because it speaks volumes. Because once you get into the world of your profession, in our cases, it's the music industry, but it could be anything, like you're in the marketing world or whatever, it gets small pretty quickly. And word travels very fast. And not talking about just your job performance and what you do and what you bring to the table, but how you are as a person. Like,
Yeah.
it becomes the whole, like, do I want to work with them?
Right.
Like I could cite Ryan as an example. It's like Ryan and I have done a couple things together as well, and thankfully because of Ryan, thank you Ryan, I've got to do a couple other things with other people that know Ryan, and he was kind enough to recommend me. But I would venture to guess, no matter how good, air quotes, how good my job performance is, or how accommodating I was as a musician, if I was a jerk or an egotistical asshole, Ryan would not think for 2 seconds, like, don't call this guy.
Especially nowadays with how connected everything is,
Bingo.
how easy it is. If you need a bass player, you can find one.
Absolutely.
Not a problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
And there's so many great ones, let alone in the world, but in this town,
Right.
that are phenomenal. The good thing I like about Nashville and being a bass player is that those are all my friends too. And we have our little group text of bass players, but that we've had for years, and we actually recommend each other for work and everything else. But we also trust each other that if I recommend any of you guys to a gig, you're going to go in there and kill it.
Yeah, you're gonna do a great job. You're gonna be friendly. You're gonna be nice.
Absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
you're not gonna leave. When you leave, nobody's gonna think, "Fuck that guy."
Absolutely. I just work with. I have a one-off gig this weekend for a festival in Minnesota with an artist from who's best known from I hate to generalize, the 80s, but he's one of those guys. But we talked about a couple different players that we know or whatever that it's just like, how does that guy keep working? He's a jerk. He's egotistical. He's this, whatever. And I told the artist, so you know what? I'm not a gossip hound per se, but what you just told me, I've already heard from a few different people. And when you hear that, there might be something to it,
And you wonder, like, how do those people keep going?
Well, they do. Well,
Is it just like sheer, like, I'm just that good?
well, no, I don't think it's just that, because there's a lot of people that are quote unquote just that good. I think it's just that they got in one thing and they're reliable enough to, like, hey, we're going to call blah, blah, blah guy who's not a nice guy, but we know he already knows the songs.
He'll do a great job, and then he's out of here.
He's going to do it, and then we can just kind of move along. So there's a few people like that. So you never want to be that. And I've said that to younger people moving to town. I said, don't be that person.